Yeah.
Oh, they probably.
Yes.
Oh, no, they probably.
I'm
about to knock next Jackson.
Did you notice anything wrong with the clip you just watched? Fair enough if you didn't. I'm going to go frame by frame and show you exactly what happened. So, as you can see, I'm being chased by around 3 people, and 2 of them pull off at about this point here. This is when they stop chasing me. As you can see, all 3 are chasing, and then they pull off around about here. At least 2 of them do. One person continues to chase me. That is Oblivify. Now, you might not notice anything suspicious. I'm now standing on the trap. Okay? And this trap is completely invisible. There's no way of anyone knowing it was there. And if I turn around into F5, you can see Oblivify's already got a pearl in his hand. He already knows at this point that he is planning on throwing an ender pearl. At this point, the trap has not been activated. There are no signs whatsoever that there's a trap here. No one has any way of knowing. And bear this in mind for later as well. He throws the pearl. The second he steps on the strap, you can see this pearl here has already left his inventory, and he's thrown the pearl. Before the trap is pulled, you can see the sound wave of the trap breaking here. So it's quite a few moments before the actual trap is activated. And now you can see the trap is activated. You can see the gravel start to fall. And he's got a pre-pearl in this situation because he pearled already. You can even hear the ender pearl go before the trap. I'll slow that down in the replay. Now, you might just think at this point, fair enough, he got kind of lucky in that situation, incredibly lucky in fact, that he pearled the exact block that the trap starts. The exact block. He got very lucky in this situation. However, he didn't get lucky in this situation, as the next pictures are going to show. As you can see from this picture, I simply asked the question, Oblivify, how did you know the trap was there? To which his team responded, he didn't, he just MLG pearled. And there are a number of other people that said this. This Gunov guy said clutch pearling is a thing if you're not like 90 years old. So there were other people as well that were saying it. And I said, he pearled before the trap was pulled, I literally have it recorded, it wasn't MLG reaction. Which Oblivify assumes I'm bluffing and says post it. Here's another example, someone else saying if you have reflexes you can pearl before you fall. I said, I'm not trying to accuse anything, but I don't see how any of you could have possibly known about it. And I believe if I just so happened to pearl at the exact moment before it was pulled, right as he stepped on the trap. Now, this all kind of makes sense at this point, but it doesn't make sense when you consider the fact that he did pearl before the trap was pulled. And he knows that he pearled before the trap was pulled. So why are they claiming the MLG pearled? Because it's clearly trying to cover something up. It would have been much more logical to say he happened to get a lucky pearl, because we can't dispute that. But it's clearly not an MLG pearl. It's not a reaction. It's not a reflex, because he pearled before the trap was pulled. There's no way that he could have bear in mind as well, he's already holding the pearl at this point. He has stopped hitting me. It makes no sense. He knows that I'm kind of somewhat low, I'm lower than him. He should have stuck on me. This is what any reasonable player would have done. He would have kept chasing, kept hitting me. But for some reason he decides, no, I'm going to stop that. I'm going to hold an ender pearl for no reason whatsoever. And throw it. I've got 2 pots in my hotbar. He knows I'm kind of low. And yet he decides to swap to an ender pearl before there's any signs of anything. It's not an MLG reflex. It's not. There's no reaction to anything. He just does it randomly. And if they'd said he randomly got a lucky pearl, fine, we can't argue that. But it's the fact that they tried to claim that he was MLG pearling or reacting to the trap, and there's no way he would have. So why are they arguing that? There's only one possible reason. And it's because they're lying. They did know about the trap. And the only possible way they could have known about the trap is through X-ray. Because there were no signs whatsoever as to this trap existing. So that's my piece. I don't necessarily want any consequences. I don't want anyone to get banned, but I do just want you guys to like be aware, and I just it was more so the arrogance of Oblivify saying post it. as if I'm bluffing. Well, here you go. I've proven that they clearly knew about the trap, and the only way they could have possibly known is to X-ray. We don't know who X-rayed it. We don't know who told them about the location. It could have been a verifier, it could have been someone else. So it's not worth banning anyone over, but if you're going to try and claim that you had these sick MLG reaction time, when the real situation is someone in your faction X-rayed, it's just fucking cringe.